Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. So, we are talking about the frustration. Do you ever feel frustrated when you send DMs about your business or your product to somebody on LinkedIn and you just hear crickets? Or what if you feel afraid of openly marketing what it is you do on your LinkedIn feed because you're afraid people will unfollow you? In other words, they don't want to be sold to. Or what if you simply don't have a venue where you feel safe networking with other people? We're going to be talking about this today. And by the way, I am Sarah and I am out in Seattle, Washington.
And I'm Zev, and I'm here in the District of Columbia, Washington, freezing cold, frigid tundra as it is. And it's Friday, and this is the Discover Your Amazing Edge podcast, Mind Shift Happens edition.
Yes, we love mind shift happens because it can happen. And that is what part of what we are talking about today. So, one of the things I have noticed on LinkedIn is many people promote their businesses by sending DMs. And that seems to be a standard thing that people do because you can do it. And you can also reach a lot of people through direct messaging. But another thing I've noticed is some people are put off by being pitched to via a DM when you haven't introduced yourself. So, for example, you might have a great business idea. You may have encapsulated it into a really good written proposal about who you are and what you propose to that person to whom you're sending that DM. But once you send it, nothing, crickets, cold, it doesn't work. And I've noticed that happen a lot. And I think here's one of the issues that there are crickets when this happens.
Before you go, say hi to Kimberly, who has joined us.
Oh, hey, Kimberly, how's it going? Good to see you here. Yeah, so there's this issue with DMs. And I think the reason we're seeing crickets when this happens is because you haven't established a relationship with that person. What LinkedIn is about is really establishing those key relationships with others, building trust, letting them know who you are before you start selling to them. And that is the same reason why a lot of people are hesitant to openly pitch their business on the feed because they haven't gained the know, like, trust, which is the currency of LinkedIn. That's what we're seeing in 2026. Know, like, trust is the currency of LinkedIn if you want to really gain more connections and have your product stand out. So that's one of the things we're talking about today. And how do you solve this problem? Well, Zev and I have solved the problem for you. We have created a group called Your Edge for Success, and that is the number 4. So, Your Edge for Success, it is a free group. And in this group, you are allowed to practice in a low stakes environment with other members. So you can present your business to people. You can tell people if you're looking for work. You can tell the other members what frustrations you are hitting, what walls you are hitting in your business. You can connect with other peers in your field in the Edge for Success group. You can practice your elevator pitch. Everybody needs a really good elevator pitch in case that moment comes when you are literally in the elevator with the CEO who can open doors. You need to have that ready. So that is another feature that we have in the Edge for Success group. And you'll also get free expert coaching from Zev and I. We have a leadership book called Discover Your Amazing Edge, right? And what's great about this book is you can open it to any page, quite literally, and get the advice that you need. So you don't have to read it in chronological order. For those of you like me who have ADHD, you don't have to read it in chronological order. And we would love for you to join this group?
There's a lot of people who are stuck in their comfort zone. They're just, how am I ever going to get out of this comfort zone? How do I take this leap of faith? I just don't feel confident. I don't feel like I can do it. And then all of a sudden, in pours all the limiting beliefs that they've had, that they've been dragging with them all this time, from who knows what age, for whatever messages they received from the adults that mattered in their lives, teachers, parents. All this stuff really sinks in, and it prevents us from crossing the goal line or even getting to the 50-yard line, because we can't even leave our comfort zone. The group that Sarah and I have put together is purposeful that way. We understand that. We've been there, and leaving your comfort zone can be at your own pace. It doesn't have to be this rush, jump off the building, with everybody, down there yelling, jump,
Yeah,
jump. No, it don't have to be that way. That's scary as hell. We don't need that.
no.
What you need is a place where you're not going to be judged. You're going to be helped. You're going to be urged. You're going to be developing your stepping stones, and you're going to be forgetting about your stumbling blocks because you're going to be so busy creating your stepping stones. And believe me, those stepping stones are individualized. They're not, everybody doesn't have the same stepping stones. If you went to a store and the store was called Your Stepping Stones, Get Yours, trust me, they would have to have a lot of them on display. Just like they have those things in a lot of places that have your name on it that you can buy in a souvenir store. Well, your name on whatever stepping stones you might need are unique to you, just like your name, just like who you are. You can't just jump. That's too damn scary.
And that's one of
we
the
don't want you to be scared. We want you to be successful.
That's one of the reasons this group is so important, is because we're going to be giving that individualized guidance that Zev just described. We're going to be giving that to you because, again, your stepping stones are individual, just as your stumbling blocks are individual. So you'll have a place that's free and safe to work through all of this. And to really,
if you have fears, we want to hear about it. You don't have to keep it to yourself. Everybody has fears. If you don't have fears, there's something wrong with you. It means that you have no filters, and I'm not sure I would want to be very close to you because I could, who knows, fall off the mountain. Because I do have filters, maybe sometimes too many filters. Like a lot of us, we overthink it. We overthink it till, every side, east, west, north, south, and over and over and over again, and then we never get it done. This group is about getting it done, talking it out, and rehearsing it. Because the thing about humans is rehearsal is an important thing. If you have rehearsal with something, it means that you're going to advance a little further the next time. But you have to get off the dime. And there's no reason in this world why you shouldn't have really good support while you do that. And that's really what you're going to get in this group. That's the point. Subscribe to the group. It's on LinkedIn.
Your Edge for Success, number 4.
Your Edge for Success, the number 4, exactly. And just get to it. Don't think about all the, you've prepared a bunch of things. Maybe you're not perfectly prepared, or maybe you're not polished. Maybe you don't think so, but you know what? I'm not sure we're always the best judge of who and how we're performing. Like you don't always have to believe everything you think.
Exactly.
A lot of people believe everything they think, and experience, rehearsal in front of other people who are ready to receive your information, not, that you're like throwing stones or throwing paint at a canvas
Exactly.
and
You're
not landing.
right. So, did you see the news? Did you see that Amazon here in Seattle is going to lay off about 14,000 people?
They're all over the place. We
Yeah,
understand why that is. We know what that is. It's AI.
AI.
It's
Right.
robotics. It's people, who used to have functions, who now are being replaced. Like all those crazy science fiction things we always talked about, uh, we're being replaced. So we have to be creative,
Right.
moving forward in how we deal and figure out how we're going to make this, how we're going to get this done ourselves, and not depend on other people for our, to be redeemed. Uh,
And that's yet another reason we created this group, because we know people are being replaced by AI. And so you have to have an edge. You have to get above the noise. And that is one of the core things that drives this group, is helping you find your edge, get above the noise so that you do not become redundant. And remember, AI cannot do everything. It's trained on things that exist, but it doesn't have the same creative thinking that humans have. It has critical thinking. It can do math calculations, it can do some software coding, things like that. But it doesn't have that creative spark that is unique to human beings. And I don't believe it can replicate it. Do you? Do you think AI can replicate that creative spark that
I
humans?
think it has its limits, and I think, they'll push the limits, but there'll always be places for people to do human things and human work. It's just we have to be a little more creative about finding our niche and figuring out, what it is. I mean, remember, all your experience that you've had in your life, whatever it may be, if it was trauma, if it was whatever it was, your jobs you hated or whatever, people want to hear about that. You're, in some ways, you're an expert on that. Matter of fact, there's no bigger expert in the world than you, because you know how it feels and you know the pain that's involved in not being able to get your goals met or looking for that freaking breakthrough, that you just think that, oh, I'm just so close, I'm there. And then something happens and you're not there and you have to face, the tumble, like Chutes and Ladders, that game, which I didn't really like, by the way,
I
because
didn't.
you'd advance 6 steps and then you'd fall down a hole and you'd end up back square one again. I really didn't like that. I'm not sure I understood what the lesson was with that. Personally, I think the lesson was punitive. I think it
I
was
think it
punishment.
was.
It's like, it said, look, listen, you little pipsqueak, don't try to advance, don't try to go further. It's that critical, the inner critic. Seems to me Chutes and Ladders was the inner critic saying, you don't deserve it. I'm not letting you. And
And
guess
you're
what?
gonna
You
get
see
knocked
that
down.
step that you're about to take? Go ahead and take it. See what happens. All you're going to do is fall into the chute and end up on square one again, because that's where you belong. What a horrible thing. And then people believe that.
Was that a social experiment for a generation, do you think?
I don't know, but I think it left its mark.
I think it did too. And
Personally, I
musical
think you'd be better off playing Tiddlywinks if you remember that game.
yeah,
You'd be better off playing that game because at least it's mindless, and you don't end up feeling like a dope, or whatever it is that
exactly.
you might have felt at school, when you flunked something. You
And
know,
what happened with musical chairs? There was only one winner. What kind of message did that send? There's only one
Well,
chair
a
to take.
musical chairs was, I think that was the predecessor to the to the rave and to the other thing. Just push other people. What was that called? Mosh pit. Get
No,
in that mosh pit and push people around, and find the only seat that's there. So what if you throw somebody in the mud? Who gives a rat's you know what? You know,
yeah.
what
I mean,
another horrible message. And think about how
from
many times you played that damn game at birthday parties. you know,
Did you ever?
along with pin the tail on the freaking donkey. I hated that.
Oh, I hated that.
And,
Yeah.
what's with the donkey? The donkey has it hard enough already, doesn't it? Has to carry all your stuff. Now you're going to pin a tail on the donkey. I mean, I don't know. Somebody wasn't, I don't know. I think you need to have a psychological test to be a game inventor, because there are some amazing games. There really are. There's some, games that really teach. Hey, look, Sarah and I deal with relationship stuff. There are fabulous games for couples, who want to increase, their sex life or get their relationship on track, or do that kind of thing. But this group that Sarah and I are talking about, please come and gather,
Yes.
because this is the kind of gathering that's going to get you ahead. It's going to literally propel you forward, instead of that feeling that you go to when you go to some other groups and everybody makes you feel like Jack,
Yeah.
because they're so much better than you and they have more experience than you, and they're just the most wonderful thing since sliced bread, and yippee-i-o for them. But you're left like, how
Right.
can I ever get there? How will I ever get there? How am I going to make it?
Well,
You
you
know,
have a seat at the table in our group. You have a seat at the table, and Zev and I have a sense of humor as well. And there's no hierarchy here. There's no somebody's up here and everybody else is down here. No, we're all peers just working through this thing called life. That can
yeah,
be.
maybe we'll create a game. Maybe out of this group we'll create a new game. And we'll leave chutes and ladders behind, and this will be the success game.
Yes.
How you didn't feel so good about yourself at the beginning, and how you came to understand how strong you really are, and how you can overcome the trauma, that really wasn't your fault to begin with. A lot of people are traumatized, and they don't understand, why can't I get ahead? Why are my relationships so crappy? Well, the reason is because you're not dealing with something, the huge elephant that's in the room, which is the fact that you were traumatized in whatever way that was,
Right.
sexually, abusive.
Right.
Believe me, trauma has no bounds. There's a million ways for us to be traumatized, and we're human. We're all of us. We're not like strong all the time, and
No.
and trauma hits us at our weakest time, and it hits us because we're shocked and surprised, and it's terrible.
Right.
How do you overcome that? How do you end up? There's so many people out there trying to get out of their comfort zones and trying to be successful in life and put their show on the road, when really they haven't told some significant other person who cares about them deeply that
Right.
they are in pain. They don't feel so good about themselves. And how do you begin if you can't get past that? You got to let the bird out, the cage. You got to let someone else know, because otherwise it's a lonely place. I can't tell you how many people in my practice as a psychotherapist, Sarah and I are both therapists, and coaches, and a man and a woman. So
Yes.
again,
And a
there's
man
a
and a woman.
huge amount of things to you understand why people act the way they do. But we also understand that it's not about, just living in the past. It's not about just looking behind us, because really you can look back, but really you need to look ahead. It's not about the old news. It's about the new news that you're going to make. You're going to make some new news. And if you're stuck, get unstuck, drop by, seek us out. This group is just getting started,
Yep.
and the potential is pretty amazing.
And the
And
potential for
it'll be all about you out
exactly.
there who are just going to another weekend, not fulfilling the dreams or aspirations of that you've tried so hard to get to. And
And you no
there's
longer you no
there's a
longer have to cold call. That's the thing, is you no longer have to use your feed as a place to cold call. You'll no longer have to cold call through the DM. you can do that within the group, within a safe place, with people who actually want to hear you and see you.
Because they're feeling the same way, and they
Exactly.
want that, and there are rules, in groups. Well, some not. This one, yes. The rules are: don't judge. Be a mental hand to the other person. Reach out, um,
Yeah.
suggest, offer your best advice to them. Give them what you would wish other people would give you. Because that's really where, when you're sitting in the group, you'll realize that's where you landed. Um, and that's the group really comes because Sarah and I both have experienced it, and we've experienced many, many, many people's pain because they put it out to us right on the table. And I'm talking about real pain, uh, the kind that comes from infidelity, the kind that comes from losing jobs, the kind that comes from crappy bosses who are really looking to take your ideas and not give you any credit. There's so many people out there who are experiencing this. And if they don't have a place, a diving board, if they don't have a place to jump off of and feel that they're going to land,
And a
and
safe place.
and there's going to be water down there and not cement.
Yeah, a safe
And
place to land, right? That's what we have.
we're not going to hold your hand and not let you jump. We're just going to make sure that when you jump, you realize that all you did was you jumped further into the place you want to be. It might not be the final destination, but you just, went about 30 yards down the field. Getting over the 2-yard line is always hard. Even the best teams have a hard time getting over the 2-yard line. It takes some serious creativity, and it'll be a creative place. We want to hear your creativity, and we just want you to know we support you. We understand you, you who are not getting where you want to be right now, and we want you to get there. And sometimes on your journey, you have to make some stops along the way. The journey isn't like a one way, no stops. Best to have a few stops along the way, and it's best when those stops are supportive and not because we tell people some of our plans, we tell our friends, we tell our families, we tell this, and the first thing out of their mouth is the worst criticism. You
Yeah.
thought you could have an inner critic. You don't need one because you have some people in your family,
Right.
that basically don't want you to succeed. They'll do anything to not feel that you pass them in some kind of progress or
And that's
whatever. And please, again, I talked about the book and Sarah brought it up, but get this book, Discover Your Amazing Edge. Sarah and I aren't getting rich about this book. This is a book that will help you whatever chapter you go into, because it's talking about the things that we're talking about today. Your family, what's important, energy, courage, bravery, the kinds of things, leaps of faith,
stepping stones.
stepping stones. There's a lot of chapters.
Yes.
We read them. Maybe next time we'll read them.
Yes.
But
Living in that.
if
Yeah.
you read the book, you'd realize you'd want to come to our group because it's a supportive book and it's supportive.
It
So I
is.
think we've made the case today, Sarah. I think we've really gotten even deeper than we thought we would get today.
Yes, I think so.
With bringing forth a message of hope to people who are really struggling, and
Really, we do.
and a lot of times for no fault of your own. Don't blame yourself. Be kind to yourself out there. Don't. There's enough people going to kick your ass. You don't have to kick your own ass.
Yeah,
So,
please don't. And also, don't go at it alone. I know some people who keep their business ideas to themselves, who won't tell anybody about their business, who won't hire help. And guess what? I've never known anybody with that mentality to succeed. They're so afraid that somebody's going to steal their idea that they won't ask for help. Well, nobody's going
Your
to
idea is your idea, and if somebody stole it, if they stole it, they couldn't
It's not
possibly
you.
do. They can't do to it what you've already what
Exactly.
it's made of. They're going to do what they do to it, and believe
Exactly.
me, it's not going to be too close to what you're going to do, as long as you find a way to move at your own pace and gain confidence and progress little by little, or big steps, or whatever, or breakthroughs, or busting through the walls, whatever it is. This is what this is what you need.
Yes.
And
So don't go at it alone. Please
I
don't
know.
join us. And nobody can do, again, I have to reiterate, nobody can do what you can do. Nobody can give to this world what you have to give. And there are things, and many things, that you have to give, and the world is just waiting for you. And please know that you are special. You are.
We're looking for your best. We're looking to find out what that is, but
It's there.
again, at your own pace, and with other people offering all kinds of suggestions, giving of themselves in a very heart-centered way. Not some goofy, all teary-eyed kind of thing. I'm saying in a heartful way, because they understand, okay, because they've been there themselves. And if we had a group filled with people like that, uh, so many amazing things will happen. And
We'll all be lifting each other up and taking each other along, and we all rise together in success in this group. That's the whole point, is we all rise together.
it's not therapy. And if it's therapy you need, we'll pretty much know that, and probably, suggest that you might seek something just, to give you, just to move you past whatever edge that is, that, whatever deficit or shortcoming you're feeling, or trauma, because again, we encounter so much trauma. There's, there's so much out there.
And we ourselves, we don't know what we know just from reading books or having gone to school. We ourselves have been the recipients of tremendous trauma. Zeb and I have.
Hey, I was on a plane crash. I'll tell you about it sometime.
Exactly.
It isn't no fun story.
Zeb almost died.
I survived. I saw my life go in front of me, and it's a long story. There's even humor in it. If you can find humor in your plane blowing up on the runway, and you're like, uh-oh, I didn't do anything like I thought I was going to do in life yet, to be on the train, on this plane in Atlanta airport, and that be the last place. So
it had not taken off, had it? Had the plane taken off when it blew up?
Actually, the headline the next day, which I searched the paper because crazy me, when I continued with my trip and came back to Atlanta the next day, and I looked at their paper, the Atlanta Constitution, and I combed it. I didn't realize that it was on the front page, and it said, "It's a blessing it hadn't taken off."
Oh my goodness.
That's a plane I was on,
Oh,
that's not the headline that you want to see.
So you do have a guardian angel. You
Well,
do. Or a guardian mentor with a guardian mentor.
Yeah, there were enough good people in my life that are looking down on me.
Yes.
And yeah, that's where it is. So anyway, Sarah, we really we went really all out today. We didn't expect to. We were kind of on a weekend Friday doldrum, and we turned it into something dynamic. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
And, everybody have a great weekend. Here in Washington, we're going to be freezing for a little while.
Stay warm, my friends.
Thanks a lot, and have a good weekend. And thanks, Sarah. And
for those watching on YouTube, before we forget, we love you, YouTube watchers.
So
Please
please subscribe.
subscribe. Thank you.
Subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. We're on a lot of social media, Facebook, all kinds of things. Um, let's meet each other. Let's
Yes.
hear about your situation. We are interested in hearing about your unique challenges and how we can all help each other move forward. So, again, have a good weekend. Thanks again, Sarah.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you next time for Mind Shift Happens. All right.
Yeah, we did it.
Yes. See y'all.
See you
Bye.
guys. See you next time.